Hello, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Reacting Reddit, where real humans read, react, and summarize trending content and stories. Today, I'm proud to tell you that we're getting some stimulus checks. And I'm going to tell you everything about the bill that is giving them to you, because it has finally passed. Let's get to it. First, let's get some context. What's actually in this bill? Looking at Wikipedia, the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 is a $1.9 trillion economic stimulus package proposed by President Joe Biden and his cabinet to speed up the United States recovery from the economic and health effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing recession. His plan for Congress to pass it was one of his first bills into law through the 117th Congress. First proposed on January 14, 2021, the package builds upon many of the measures in the CARES Act from March and the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2021 from December. Key elements of the stimulus bill include extending expanded unemployment benefits with a $300 weekly supplement through Labor Day, September 6, 2021, preventing benefits from expiring on March 31, 2021. $1,400 direct payments to individuals. Approximately 90% of the United States are eligible for, or of households in the United States will be eligible. Emergency paid leave for over 100 million Americans. Extends a 15% increase in the food stamp benefits program. The increase, passed in previous rounds of stimulus, was set to expire at the end of June 2021. The bill extends it through September of 2021. Expands the child tax credit, expands the earned income tax credit. Also included in the Senate bill is an amendment that makes forgiven student loan debt tax-free, should Biden or Congress decide to cancel any student loan debt in the future. Grants to small businesses, including $15 billion for emergency injury disaster loans, a long-term, low-interest loan program of the Small Business Administration. Priority for some funds would go to severely impacted small businesses with fewer than 10 workers. Just for reference, I'm a registered sole proprietor, and I was eligible for one of these disaster loans. And they are amazing. You basically get free money that you have to give back at an interest rate so low that inflation keeps pace with it. Like, totally ridiculous. $350 billion to help state, local, and tribal governments bridge budget shortfalls and mitigate the fiscal shock. The Senate bill would allocate $60 billion to counties and $10 billion for a coronavirus capital projects fund. By contrast, the House bill would allocate $65 billion to countries and $65 billion to municipalities. Education funding. $130 billion for kindergarten through 12 schools to safely reopen most schools within 100 days. Almost $40 billion for colleges and universities. At least half of the money to colleges and universities must go to emergency grants to students. Up to $25 billion in aid to renters with unpaid debts to landlords. Utility assistance funding. Homelessness prevention funding. The rest of the money is allocated for COVID prevention, vaccination, and research. Now, let's get on with the news opinion. We're going to look at some conservative articles and some liberal articles. First one is by Wall Street Journal. Senate Democrats voted to advance the latest round of the stimulus bill, which now goes back to the House for final approval before likely landing on President Biden's desk. The $1.9 trillion legislation known as the American Rescue Plan Act includes a range of measures, from stimulus checks to child tax credits, jobless benefits, vaccine distribution funds, healthcare subsidiaries, and restaurant aid. This deal would be the largest aid package to pass since widespread restrictions tied to the coronavirus pandemic began in March of 2020. And this has now passed the House. All that is left is for Biden to sign it, but, why wouldn't he do that? Breitbart said President Joe Biden hailed the Senate passage of his $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief bill on Saturday, clearing the way for the legislation to reach his desk. He claimed it was necessary to fight the pandemic and to revive the ailing economy. Neither of those claims stands up to close scrutiny. Vaccines are rolling out, thanks to former President Trump's Operation Warp Speed, and the economy is already recovering, thanks to Trump's policies and the refusal of Republican-governed states to shut down. The New York Post says the House of Representatives on Tuesday voted largely along party lines to schedule a final vote Wednesday morning on passage of President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 stimulus bill, the American Rescue Package. The House voted 219 to 210 to book 2 hours of debate beginning at 9 a.m. Before a vote on final passage, one Democrat joined all present Republicans in voting against moving forward. The bill contains $1,400 stimulus checks for most adults and vast sums for state and local governments and businesses, and it is expected to narrowly pass the House with no Republican votes. Vox points out, tucked into the $1.9 trillion stimulus package is a provision that makes forgiven student debt tax-free. It ups the pressure for President Joe Biden to cancel student debt, but it is also a big deal for many borrowers regardless. The provision, added to the COVID-19 relief bill by Senate Democrats and championed by Senators Bob Menendez and Elizabeth Warren, says that anyone whose student loans are discharged through 2025 won't face tax consequences. Debt cancellation is usually treated as taxable income, so without this, if someone were to have some or all of their student debt forgiven, it would be accompanied by a tax bill. Yeah, so without that, if you had $100,000 of student debt and you were relieved of that $100,000 of student debt, you would have to pay income tax on $100,000, which means that you would have to pay the government between $20,000 and $30,000 because your bill was relieved. So you would still have to pay a third of it. I mean, it's better than $100,000, but arguably that $100,000 was spread out over their monthly payments, whereas the government wants your money by April. So it's quite good that they added this provision because telling someone they're relieved of paying money and then charging them a huge tax bill right then and there, that wouldn't be taken very well. An opinion in the Washington Post by Megan McArdle says, to be sure, the stimulus checks will only cost $420 billion out of the $1.8 trillion in total new spending. But we all know that they're the part most people care about. If you have any doubts, you need only Google COVID relief bill and see what the traffic optimization wizards at various news sites are putting front and center. It's a pity that it is also the most indefensible part of this bill. Should we absolutely be beefing up unemployment checks and offering generous grants and subsidies? So we should absolutely be beefing up unemployment checks and offering generous grants and subsidies to the kinds of face-to-face businesses that can't operate right now or can't make money at reduced capacity. Yet our new stimulus bill does little for struggling businesses and actually spends more money on sending checks to the majority of people who still have jobs than it does on the unemployed. How is this justifiable? Well, for what it's worth, I'm a struggling business on paper, and I was hugely benefited by the previous stimulus thing, and this adds more money for the very low interest rate loans given out by the SBA. So you have to be pretty, low income to be eligible for this stuff, but I'm a small business. I benefited. Just BT dubs. So I don't agree that the stimulus bill does not little for struggling businesses. I think that what this person is doing is they're taking the scope wrong. Because it's true, if you look at the entirety of the stimulus bill, $1.8 trillion, and you look at how much of it goes to business loans, it's barely any of the money. But that's kind of because of the proportional, like you're talking about a huge amount of money. Would you want 1,000th of a trillion dollars? Because I certainly would. Like, when people exaggerate saying 1.9 or 1.10, they're actually adding $100 billion to that exaggeration. I mean, even if you got 1% of the exaggerated amount that they averaged to 2, we're talking about huge amounts of money. So 1/10,000th of a 1.8 or 1.9 trillion dollars is still a fuckload of money. And yeah, I'm just saying, I was a struggling business and I was positively impacted by these stimulus bills. So it sounds like this person is like maybe a middle class person who earns a little bit more money and doesn't like live paycheck to paycheck. because from what I understand, most of the people arguing that stimulus is bad don't live paycheck to paycheck. And like, most of the people who make content and are organized and have good jobs and write their opinions and crap, they don't account, they aren't who most people are. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. That's what I understand, and this is my opinion. I could totally be wrong, but most people are paycheck to paycheck. So just giving large people portions of money, as you can see from historic events where people win the lottery and shit, when people are given money, they almost always spend it. People who keep money probably didn't need the stimulus check in the first place. And it is true that people are going to get stimulus checks who don't need them. But what's worse? People getting stimulus checks who don't need them or don't deserve them? Right? Like rich people and people in jail. Why do they need stimulus checks? Why does someone in jail need a stimulus check? Oh yeah, their family probably really needs it because they're breadwinners in jail and you should have some empathy for them, but you don't because you're judgmental and you think they're all felons and assholes and shitheads, but they have family who might actually be good people and, you know, could really help them out and that kind of stuff, right? But that's just my opinion. Obviously, it is not what most people think. Moving forward, the Wall Street Journal said, the new payments are the largest of the COVID stimulus checks at $1,400 per person, including dependents. A couple with 2 children could receive up to $5,600. Families will also receive the additional money for adult dependents over the age of 17, unlike the 2 earlier rounds of payments. While individuals earning less than $75,000 of adjusted gross income, heads of households earning less than $112,000, and married couples earning less than $150,000 will be eligible to receive the full amount, the checks phase out more quickly than the first 2 rounds of stimulus payments. Those earning at least $80,000 a year, heads of households who earn at least $120,000, and married couples who earn at least $160,000 will all be ineligible for the new payment. Finally, let's look at the Reddit comments. So this original question was asking people what they spent their stimulus money on, because the opinion we looked at from the Washington Post said that people are just going to keep their money and they're not actually going to spend it, and it's just a fallacy. I would say this person hasn't ever lived with poor people. Like, I mean, I'm by US standards poor, but I live in Nicaragua and here I'm wealthy, so I'm not gonna say I'm poor now, but I can tell you that living like paycheck to paycheck in the United States, renting 1 room at a time, living in Craigslist houses, finding new jobs but still having to work all the time and not really being able to make all your bills and go out to eat with your friends when you want to, people don't save money as much as they should. They definitely do not. And I assure you, maybe you, like, educated, older, self-controlling folk, maybe you're just gonna pocket your stimulus check and ponder why other humans would spend their stimulus money. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's just propaganda, and the reality is the vast majority of US people are just gonna spend the money. Maybe I'm not right about that, but I don't know about you. If I get $1,400 and I have $4,000 of credit card debt I'm paying off every month, I'm just gonna pay off my debt. Like, I'm gonna spend it on something that impacts me in some way, you know, especially if that means I don't have to pay $100 on that credit card every single month. Yet other people might view that as not stimulating the economy. Yeah, who knows? But it's definitely not accurate to say that nobody's gonna spend this money and they're all just gonna put it in their bank account, because that would mean that almost all poor people save up money and have good financial habits, and that's certainly not true, is it? Like, we have rampant abuse of the poor by credit card industries because poor people tend to spend their money when they shouldn't. And people tend to not save up. So I really don't understand how the media can bitch and moan about poor people not saving money all the time. But as soon as it's convenient for them to suggest that people aren't gonna, oh, you shouldn't give money anyway, because what are you gonna do? Spend it? Ugh, But you already have money. That's the assumption, right? These people who write are often people with money. Why would you spend money if you already have? Yeah, that's the point. Poor people don't have money to spend. They live paycheck to paycheck. And yeah, it's gonna get spent. Definitely. Finnegan says, just don't make the rookie mistake of reading the articles. And for heaven's sake, never express your own honest opinions. Be an opposite. The fun of seeing how petty people who agree with you can be is reasonably enlightening. I don't know what that had to do with what you spent your money on in the stimulus bill, but the rest of the comments are more relevant. My parents gave theirs to a local food bank and a women's shelter. My wife and I are both working remotely, so we didn't need our $1,200 to pay for rent or food like I'm guessing most families did. Instead, we put it in the bank and we forgot about it because you never know what the economy will look like in a couple of months, and it would have been irresponsible to spend it on something we didn't need right now. A reply to that says, our situation exactly. We got new tires and brakes for one of our vehicles. Banked the rest. What? You had money left over after getting new tires and brakes for a car? Dang. I agree with that, or says the original poster. I didn't blow all of mine. I just got some things I've been thinking about but I couldn't afford until now. I'd feel guilty if I blew it all at once. You guys might end up rich. I heard they might send more. And they did. Feed you to my dog says, I've been working 10+ hour days. My boss didn't believe I could do my job from home and it would look bad. The boss isn't technical and he's basically clueless. So I've been doing my thing and driving it home. There's no need for me to drive 90 minutes each way every day. I've been saving $600 a month on gas and not putting miles on my 7-year-old car with 200,000 miles anymore. I've been seeing my family more and raising what I've missed for the past several years, time with the kids that I'll never get back. Corona has been good for my selfish desires, but I know that I'm an exception. I hadn't received my stimulus check, but when I do, it will be used to pay down debt. In some ways, it's been good for me too. More time in nature, more money to be made as a cam girl, time to learn, time to relax. Whoa, this poster's a cam girl. I did not know that. That threw me for a loop. Be My Forever says, I think I'll have to take the boring route here. It went straight to my credit card, which aside from the little bit of master's degree courses and accounting licensure, also had a plethora of sunny things in it, such as a Key West vacation and plants. Luckily, that'll be paid off next month. The best money I spent this month was sending an old acquaintance some money for stamps. She is a teacher and had posted on Facebook saying she was sad that, due to the coronavirus, she couldn't give her 134 students the handwritten notes she normally gives out at the end of the year. I'm in love with handwritten notes. I couldn't resist contributing. At some point, I hope I'm financially independent enough to regularly donate towards small causes like this. It sounds like you got a mixed basket of fun goodies to enjoy. I've wanted to try a derma roller maybe, but I would never have a clue how to start. I guess somebody got some makeup stuff. A trip to Key West sounds really fun. My boyfriend and I did a cross-country road trip before Corona shut everything down, but we didn't go to Key West, but it's been on my list. You sound like a good person for wanting to donate on to charities when you can. As for the derma roller, you soak them in alcohol before and after each use. Use it on a clean face. The 0.2mm one is safe for everyday use and helps your skin absorb your skincare products better. I have a 1mm one that I'm scared of because the needles are longer and it's only to be used every 3 to 4 weeks. It helps collagen production and it's the biggest you can go while still being safe to use at home. There are some good videos on YouTube about them. Wow, this person really cares and is replying to like every comment about unrelated stuff. It's pretty sweet. Introverted Schwan says, my husband and I are both working from home, albeit we didn't get the full amount because we exceeded the full amount limitation, but was still below the limit for when you don't get a stimulus check anymore. We stashed ours in the bank just in case. We both have hobbies we do at home, and we are both introverted. This all just feels like a long staycation. I've been catching up on my shows, doing a lot of reading, and preparing on getting a master's degree. My husband has been cooking a lot of new dishes and playing a lot of video games. Sounds super chill to me, original poster. Most days I enjoy the stay-at-home order too, but I'm not totally introverted, so I wish I could leave sometimes. I'm in Georgia, so I could, but coronavirus still exists. Healthcare and paying off past credit cards I had to use for healthcare. Man, staying alive is so expensive. Yeah, in the US. Bowl of Jello says, I got an apartment with my stimulus. Now I just wish my school would graduate me so my parents will let me move out. Wait, what? I don't get it. Looks like you're shit out of luck says, I combined it with my tax return, $2,500 altogether, withdrew it in cash, then rolled it up and froze it in a cup of water in my freezer. There are 3 paydays in July. Assuming society doesn't completely crash and burn by them, I plan to combine one of those $900 with that savings and hopefully start looking for an inexpensive used car. Since I assume those who are upside down right now will be trying to sell if possible, and since I'm predicting demand will be low and quantity high at that point, I should be able to get a sweet deal. That's also assuming the used car market gets up and running again this time this year. Right now, Craigslist is a total ghost town. Sincrin says, I bought fabric, tools, and sewing notions with part of it and have been sewing masks to donate locally. I'm also getting small things to send to my friends, like postcards and stickers, to try and brighten their days. I'm saving the other half. I've gained a couple of levels in Seamster. It's been fun. I spent the full $1,200 at local and small businesses. I bought a ton of fabrics for my own shop, ordered some cute earrings, bought some cool art, ate way too much local takeout, and I signed up for my first summer CSA program. Now I spend all day sewing in an attempt to make my money back since I blew it all. Overall, no complaints or regrets. My stimulus is going towards my healthcare deductible. That was fun. I've learned that I should stop going to the doctor. Or go buy a plane ticket with the money you're going to spend to the doctor to a country that offers free healthcare even to foreigners. Get your healthcare there, have a nice vacation, stay at a hotel, come back, and have still spent less than your US medical bill. Jennifer 2001 says, I've spent it on fabric and elastic to continue making masks free for essential employees, nurses, doctors, and police. And bills. Oh, and soda to stay awake 20 hours a day sewing. My actual sewing warmers business tanked, so YOLO at this point, at least I can help others stay safe. I bought a bicycle, and I've been riding it along the local bike trails. It's been years since I've ridden, and I forgot how much I enjoyed it. I even saw a bald eagle on my first ride. Oh, I'm imagining like the symbol of US democracy, a stimulus check. The stimulus check gets used to purchase a bicycle. And then upon riding this bicycle, a bald eagle soars through the sky, symbolizing the stimulus and the power of democracy. Oh my God. Swim, rinse, repeat says, I put my stimulus check in my savings account. I discovered working from home is wonderful and saves me 7 hours of sitting in a car over a week. I'm able to get outside and run, walk, bike, and garden much more frequently. I have all the windows open while working to enjoy the fresh air. Getting outside for hours daily in this beautiful weather we are having where I live has improved my mental health drastically. I'm actually happy. It's wonderful not sitting in my car to go sit in a box 8 hours a day, deal with all the egos and bullshit at my office, then come home exhausted and still need to make dinner, help with homework, and clean up. I'm a government worker and it's unlikely working from home will become an option going forward. However, I'll remember these days working from home with much, much fondness. I can basically toss my antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds in the garbage temporarily. The real prescription is less stress, more free time, exercise, and getting outdoors. Oh, preach! Yeah! Swim, rinse, repeat. You know what's up. Thank you. Beautiful. Charming Praline says, I don't currently have extra time, but my job demand has damn near flatlined, and while we did a lot of converting to making medical gear, it doesn't supplement that kind of loss, at least not with current staff levels, so I might have more time in the coming weeks. As far as I know, I've spent my money. I haven't been pretty well and stockpiling my money. Was planning on buying a decent car outright, but now I'm holding off till I have more certainty with my financial situation. If things do turn for the worst with my job, I'll end up utilizing the time to do an engine teardown and refurbishing on my current car. Turn the added free time into something positive that I also happen to enjoy doing. I'm going to put it in my savings and use some of it later for a vacation somewhere. Hey, free money doesn't come by very often. A lot of people who answered gave it to someone or donated it. There's nothing wrong with spoiling yourself a little bit. I didn't blow my entire check. As of right now, I'm saving the rest. My little shopping spree made me feel good, and I feel like most of those items are meaningful. Plus, I did need glasses because mine broke and are held together with tape. Not cute. Actually, I'd argue that could be very cute. bmoney831 says, I bought a coffee table. I didn't get much from my check. Depends how much you use that coffee table and what you do on the coffee table, right? Shred Mojo says, even though my job was closed, I've been working this entire time. However, it opens tomorrow and I expect to die soon. So I spent my stimulus on a guitar I've always wanted. And their name is Shred Mojo. I paid off my credit card debt, so all that's left are student loans. The rest went straight into savings. Acorn Girl says, I caught up on the bills, which was a huge relief, put a little bit into savings, paid for an unexpected home repair, and spent some money buying from other artists. That last bit wasn't practical, I know, but we really did want to spread it around a little, and we have food in the house and are up to date on the mortgage. Not everyone has that much security at the moment, and I know firsthand how hard it is to survive as an artist, even when the economy is more stable. Being isolated at home is weird. I've been cleaning and organizing areas that don't get taken care of on a weekly basis, and watching animals and insects in the backyard. I miss my friends desperately, but I'm getting more rest. I have chronic pain issues from an injury, and I'm exhausted much of the time because of that. Being unable to run unnecessary errands and go to the VA for anything non-emergency means I'm able to listen to my body more. I'm actually using fewer pain pills. Congratulations. All right, everybody. That's it for now. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe, watch another one of our videos, like this video, or comment below. And as always, if you want to make this kind of video or use our software or make thumbnails or talk to us, please get our email so we can set up a Zoom call and see what you have to say. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Ciao!